Good afternoon. It is the 1st of April. Welcome to my trading vlog. We are looking at Wall Street right now. A new candle has just opened. 1 minute has passed. We are looking for a opportunity to enter the market. Let us check the other pairs, what's happening. We have US Tech, which is in indecision at this point, and Germany, which is in indecision at this point. I want to remind everyone that we use the 5-minute chart as our execution chart, but we also use the 1-hour chart to just get an idea of what is overall movement of the price. As you can see, the overall movement of the price is a downward movement. This area that I'm pointing out right now is an area where the price had reached on the 28th of March. So it's come back here today and it's going up. It could not breach that area. That's a very strong area. Let's just go ahead and draw a small zone for ourselves, like a visual reminder that this area is so important. There's a small little zone there. So the market is down, strong down, but you can see a little pullback is happening. So the question is, does this pullback have enough strength to go and reverse the market? So we have to look at the areas where it has to go through for it to be a total reversal. So one of the key areas I think would be, let me just draw a zone first, then we can manipulate and move it around. One of the key areas I think would be this area here. Say this area. Why did I choose this area? You see, look at the number of times the price came and kissed and kissed and kissed and at last broke through this area. So this area provided a support for the price, but the price broke through. So if the price were to go and once again clear this, then we know the trend is reversed. But if not, we know it's going to continue the downtrend. That is for the DAX. So let's go back to the 1 hour or 5 minute. That information that I gave you is just information you need to keep in the head. But we execute from the 5 minute. There is no trade here. Let's go and see the Wall Street, what's happening. A huge candle came and touched the support. It is massive. Started out very strong as a, so the body of the candle is 9 points. The entire length was 17 points. Maybe at this point I can talk a little bit about why some of you are struggling to convert certain trades into profits. Why when you see a perfect setup, it goes properly for a bit and then takes you out. And you say, I followed all the rules, I waited for the price to come and kiss the support, I waited for another price to say goodbye, I did all that and I lost. See, I want to tell you, this is a 24/5 market. That means for 24 hours of the day, for 5 days of the week, the market is open. It doesn't matter how big the candle is or how small the candle is, trades are taking place. People, computers, institutions are buying and selling. The trade doesn't happen when you turn up and put on the computer and get at the chart. So trade happens all the time. Why am I saying that? It's very important for us to understand what is happening now is not an isolated incident. This price movement is not just happening isolated. Let's say you took a trade here and it reversed against you. It is not an isolated attack on your trading. It is a small part of a bigger picture. That is why we need to get a bigger picture. This is part of what we call market structure. Why is the price struggling to go above? That is a question you need to ask, and you have to answer it accurately. So I'm going to introduce something called top-down analysis. Now, what is top-down analysis? Top-down analysis is when we look at the price in context of the trading that happens throughout the 24 hours, throughout the 5 days, throughout the months, whatever. So for our analysis, we won't do a monthly analysis. We will start our analysis with a week. Now let's just take Wall Street as our example. I have changed the chart to a weekly chart, and as you can see, on a weekly chart, each candle represents 5 days worth of trading, 1 week worth of trading. And as you can see, in a weekly chart, the price has been steadily climbing and climbing and climbing ever since this low point on the 22nd of March 2020. 2 years ago, it hit a low point. If you remember that was the COVID announcements and the COVID fall. And then ever since, it has been climbing, right? So that is just, give yourself that information. Okay, the market is on an uptrend for the weekly. Now look at this. Each of this, let me just make it big. Each of this candle is 5 days long. So if I were to take this and mark it, right? Let me just move this. It snaps to fit, so it starts at the beginning and ends. Okay, so that is 5 days worth of there you go, that's accurate. 5 days worth of trading, right? Now if you go to a 1 day chart, you look at this, 1 2 3 4 5. But so half of this candle, so 1 2 3 4 and 5. So 5 days worth was just that one candle. This one candle, 5 days worth. Okay, so on a 1 day chart, let's look at what's happening. On a 1 week, it was a definite climb, but on a 1 day, look what the market is doing. Now I want to introduce to you something called market structure. Market structure, right? It's called the high and the low. Now let's come back to our 5 minute. Look at this now. The price came down, touched, the price is leaving, right? So we have to take a trade at the end of this candle. So let us get that ready. Now, according to our, let's look at what amount we have. $100,000. So 0.05% will be $50. So I will take $50 and keep it ready. Right? A new candle will open in about 8 seconds. I'm going to go for a buy on the new candle. I put a buy on the new candle and I mark my trade. I marked it. Done. I have set a visual stop loss for myself just below the structure here, and I will wait. So while this trade goes on, let's continue talking about market structure. Market structure. What is market structure? To understand market structure, let's go to a 1 hour chart. Now, market, as you can see, moves. It doesn't move in, look at this, it moves like this. Right? Market doesn't move in a straight line. Market never moves like this. Right? It always moves in a kind of a up and down movement. So what the market does is, it either makes a high, then it makes a low, then it makes another high, another low, and so on. So if the market were to make a high, a low, and the next high was higher than the previous high, as you can see here, and the next low is lower than the previous, higher than the previous low, right? Let me mark it out. Look at this. I'm marking these out for you. Okay. Right. So, one more I'll mark. Alright. So, the market made a high and a low, but this high was higher than this high. Then it made a low, but this low was higher than this low. Then it made a high. This high was higher than this high, and so on and so forth. So, when you see that, what do you see? You see nothing but a climb up, right? A climb up. So that means if the market made a low, then the high was lower than the previous high and the low was lower than the previous low, it's making a climb down, right? So when the high is higher than the previous high and the low is higher than the previous low, it's making a climb up. And the reverse is true. When the low is lower than the previous low, it's making a... Why is this important? Why is this so important for us? Right? Why do we need to know this? Let me just get rid of all this. The reason we need to know this is, let's go to the 5-minute chart and let us see what's happening to our trade. The reason we need to know this is, when we take a position like we did now and we see that the price is struggling to break out, it should tell you this is not an isolated incident. Something is happening. Something happened in the past that's affecting the present, right? And if you look back, you see the price at this point was significantly stopped and a new candle started. It went up and came down. So the price had dropped through this position, and therefore the price is struggling to go through this position. How do you use this information? If you knew this, then you will not take the trade at the point where you took it just now, where I took it. You would wait for it to clear this area and take the trade somewhere high here where there is no obstruction. So the price was dropping, and now for it to completely change course, it has to defeat this area, market structure. If you have any doubts about what we are talking, if you have any doubts about this, feel free to ask. I can explain further. Today was just an introduction on it. It's not a full story. There's a lot to it. But remember, we need to trade. We need to follow rules. Alright? So this trade is running. We let it run while we check other opportunities, if there are other opportunities for us. US Tech still no opportunity, but this looks like a new opportunity with DAX, but I will not take it because of this huge movement over here. See this? The price had tried to go till here but was rejected and pushed down, which tells me it will struggle. So I'm not going to take a position and try to win against this. So no trade over here. We'll just stick to our Wall Street. The new candle has started conveniently above the previous candle, so we are fine. I'll pause the recording and come back to it when some movement happens. Right, so as we can see, the price from where we took it has dropped, but we've already got a stop loss here. We're not I'm not worried. I'm not diddling around with it. I'm not going to play with it. That's a stop loss. So if you want to know how much is the stop loss I have kept 30 points. I kept it to structure, but it's 30 points. and so I'm willing to lose $1,500 for this trade. So $1,500. That's about 1.2, 1.3%, and which is fine for this trade. So that is my that's what I have decided. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to play around with it now. I'm just going to sit and wait and let it do its thing. Okay, we had a very unusual occurrence. Look at this spike. Look at this spike. It spiked down, took me out, went up. And that's it. Look at this. Huge. Amazing, amazing. So I was stopped out for 30 points. What was this move? This whole move was 60-point move. Fantastic. Right? So I'm going to do another position. Why? Because obviously you have to get in on the trade. It's not working. Alright. For some reason it's not working. This is the reason I don't advocate to use this. Let's just quickly switch over to our other dependable and do it here. Alrighty, we are in. And we will let this trade run. So it's running, and we will see what happens. So we look at our second position. It's gone into profit. That's good. So I took it over here, had a climb up, it came down, it's climbing up. This area it's trying to struggle to break through. But let's hold and see. Let's hold and see. We are in a little profit. It's about a couple of points in profit. Very good. See, let me at this point pause to tell you something. The first trade that I did was a loss. Now, just because the first one was a loss doesn't mean our analysis was wrong. It's just the entry was bad, and this huge spike. I mean, what can you do about this? Can't do anything. We can get into the trade. Why? Every other requirement for a trade was still valid. So get into the trade again. Make money again. You get out again, no problem. Trading is all about applying yourself, applying the rules that you have made for yourself. Don't give up. Keep trying. Not trying. Keep trading. So there's not much movement. The price has come down to break even and then moved up just a little bit. Looks like there's a lot of activity here. But since I have my stop loss, this I'm just going to let it play, and let's see if we can pull out some profit for the day. I apologize, the video is pretty long, but I hope you can learn something from this. So it's been almost 3 hours and 20 minutes. The trade has gone against me. I'm getting out of this trade now, even though the stop loss is here. I'm just getting out at this point. I had opened DAX earlier, which also went wrong. So right now we close the trade in a loss. So these are the trades I took today: minus 1,000, minus 3,000, minus 1,400, a total of 5.9% loss. So I'll close this week with 14% profit. But today is a losing day, Friday, so I will not be trading anymore. This was a long video, but I hope you could see into the trading. You could see into how you don't react to trading. You just react to the market. I'm sorry, not react to trading. You don't react to emotions. You just react to the market, and just keep trading. If you have any doubts about market structure, if you have any doubts about the 1 hour, 4 hour charts that I used,
do ask, and we can talk about it. So remember, it's not what you trade, but how you trade. God bless.